And then let's say it. Let's do it. Here it comes. Today's focus is focus. So the only time I really have to make my channel is driving to work each morning. I've got about a 25 to 40 minute commute, depending on traffic, of course, the time I leave. If I leave 5 minutes later in the morning, I'll get all the buses, garbage trucks. I live in Levittown, Long Island, in New York State. I leave home at about 7 a.m. each morning to 7:10. I'm a New York City school teacher for the Department of Education. I've been doing it for 22 years now. Have I had enough? I had enough the minute I walked into the building. It's not the point of this channel, however. The point of this channel, well, there really is no point to this channel. That's the point of this channel. Welcome to Nothing on Top. My name is Douglas Spiegel. Today's my first day filming with this notion that the only time I have to make a YouTube channel is when I drive to work. I'm too busy otherwise, continually making the money that I've already begun making to support my family, to support the life that I'm trying to live. It's a simple life, but we have things that we do. We have things that we need. We have things that we want. Not all of them are needs, of course, but I want my wife to live a beautiful life. I want my daughter to grow up in a world where she can have some things that bring enjoyment to her. Things are a little bit expensive. Life is expensive. One of the first things I do when I get in the car in the morning is choose what I'm going to listen to for that day. 99% of the time, I go straight for the music. It's a music day. I'm in the groove, I hit the vibe, and I ride on down to work. I download music every single day when I'm at work. As a teacher, a technology teacher, I sit behind a computer 80% of my day. 90% of the time, I use percentages to document how much time I do things. 80% of the time it's accurate, 70% of the time it's just made up. 100% of the time it's fictional, and 92% of the time all those percentages are overused for the sake of just sounding like I'm quantifying time. I like to quantify things in my mind. I do that a large percentage of the time. I heard somebody say that you need to keep changing the distance at which you film yourself, or the perspective from which you're filming, the angle, the camera lens, doesn't matter. Attention span of people who watch your channel isn't that great. That people's average attention span is about 20 seconds. So you need to be saying something really incredibly interesting. Obviously I am. And it needs to be filmed from a perspective that causes one's interest or mind or focus to shift with what you're saying. I don't know what I'm talking. I really didn't want to be too concerned about what kind of content I put on my website. So I had the intention at first of talking about real life. You know, the things that everybody has to deal with during the day, throughout the course of time. Love, hate, struggle, waking up to go to work, being caught in a dead-end job, watching others stroll around. You know something? Right now I'm walking the line. It looks like I'll be to work, according to the GPS, at 8:09. And I'm sitting in traffic. There's traffic here. This is what is called the Wantor State Parkway on Long Island. The Wantor State Parkway leads to the Northern State Parkway, and the Northern State Parkway leads me to an exit that plops me off pretty much right at my job on Union Turnpike. I work over in Queens, Belrose, Queens, at a District 75 school. Not sure, it seems that no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, as long as you're doing it and you're doing it enough consistently. So I'm still on my commute to work. I've made my first stop. My first stop every morning is over to Panera Bread to get my large iced coffee. And 99.9% of the time, I have time to make that stop. I'm part of the Panera Bread Sip Club. This is not an advertisement, although it is a little bit of friendly advice from someone who doesn't really want to spend all or more money on coffee. If there's a Panera Bread on the way to work, what else can I tell you this morning? So it's a rainy morning here in New York. The gauge on my car reads 59 degrees. I'm not sure. Some mornings when it's 59 degrees out, I feel chilly. This morning, 59, and I feel okay. I've got a good energy today. 2 days ago, I woke up with a whopping amount of vertigo, and I was very fragile, and I was moving a lot slower. I wouldn't have had the zest and the energy that I have today to speak as fluidly as I currently am. And also on that day, I had the heat on in my car low, even though it was 60, 65 degrees out here. Right now, it looks like I'll be at work at about 8:09 a.m. 8:09 a.m. according to my GPS. And I'd show you that GPS, except I'm unable to film with sound and talk at the same time. I'm going to figure this out. It's a little frustrating because I'm always listening to something in my car. As I might have mentioned earlier, the majority of the time it's music. Oftentimes when it's not music, it's podcasts that I've been scrolling through to listen to a variety of thought-provoking stuff. Oftentimes quite the opposite, things to eliminate thought. You know, just sprawling comedic nonsense, which is often beneficial in the morning. If my mind is heavy, music usually just puts me on a different plane. But outside of that, podcasts get me going. But I can't, as I said, speak right now to y'all while I have that in the background, and that's a problem. I'm going to work on adjusting that. I'm going to see, maybe I can connect my iTunes to my iPad, have my music on there, have that connected through Bluetooth, and film on my phone. Obviously, it's going to be a goal, as always, to film safe. I have a family at home that I will be coming home to each and every day. God willing, right? I'm not going to do anything stupid. You know, I imagine that filming while you're driving is supposed to be not the safest thing to do, but my eyes are on the road and my hands upon the wheel. Okay, I'm going to keep adjusting my angle. My phone right now is propped. You really can't see it. I would also like to get another camera in here so I can film from different angles. My phone right now is propped between my dashboard and my windshield, facing directly at me, creates a nice view. It keeps prompting me to turn on my Wi-Fi so I can connect to my dongle. And while I would love to do so, I want to keep my communication open on my commute to work. Any thoughts for the day? Today, my thought is pick up the hammer and swing it. Do what you want to do, and don't stop doing it. Become hyper-focused. I have so many dreams. I'm thinking of a lyric by Neil Young. If you follow every dream, you might get lost. Become a little bit more focused, a little bit more, write things down, hash out what is the goal. It wasn't my specific goal to film while I drive to work. It was, however, my specific goal to create some media content. And the only time I have to create media content is now, is on my commute to work. I am working from the minute I step foot into my school building to the minute I step foot out of my school building at the end of the day. I write. I enjoy writing. Maybe I can even introduce some of y'all to that writing through this channel. I work 6+ hours per week tutoring after school, working with some lovely families and students. I love to fill up my time, and not just to talk about me. Talk about yourselves. Let me hear what you have to say. Really, that's interesting. Yeah, I understand when you're just trying to make it through the day. But I know that there's some pulse that floats through the air during your day that says, man, I could be doing this, or look at the way Jones down the hallway moves. And if you look at that person with a little bit of if you look down upon the person who's experiencing some more joy, then maybe your perspective can be changed a little bit. Maybe your perspective should be to become interested in that person and how they experience that joy, rather than to scoff at them for experiencing that joy. I know there's that notion that people who laugh at simple things are perhaps simple people, but there's a joy in that simplicity, and maybe finding a way that you can bring that simplicity and joy into your life can benefit you. Where was I? Focus. Yes. Even in these ramblings, it's important to find that focus. And then let's say it. Let's do it. Here it comes. Today's focus is focus. Okay? Pick up the hammer, swing it, but know what nail you'd like to hit. That's the quote for today. Pick up the hammer, swing it, but know what nail you would like to hit. And for God's sakes, keep your thumb out of the way, please. We're not here to be crying. What's interesting? While I'm filming, I notice on the top up here, there's some kind of weird reflection of my windshield wipers going past. Kind of cool. Another point of focus here is that when you have so many things on your plate, it's important to put them into priority, right? So what am I going to do first today? I prefer to do things that are for other people first. If it's for somebody else, let's get it off the plate. Then you don't have any concern that someone's going to come breathing down your neck, right? You don't want someone breathing down your neck. Maybe you do. I'm not sure if you want somebody breathing down your neck. Don't do what they ask you to do. I'm talking more specifically about dreams. When it comes to prioritizing, you want to prioritize those dreams. Don't have too many. Really bring it into focus. Mr. Beast, right? He wanted to give away money, and then give away more money, and then give away more money, and then more money, and then see the human condition and how people react as you give away more money, right? So if you want to let's say open a business, know what kind of business it is, right? Don't just say you want to open a food business. Is it going to be a pizza shop, right? Is it going to be an espresso shop? And focus on one thing for a minute, and then as little ideas pop up, let them attach themselves to that specific. Actually, my mind is being interrupted right now. I'm going to check my GPS, and I'm going to see how long it's going to take me from where I'm currently at to get to work. I'm in a lot of traffic here. I'll be right back. All right, so it looks like I'll be at work at 8:09. according to my GPS. I always remove a few minutes from that because typically I drive faster than it indicates I'm going to be able to. And when I get off my exit, it's definitely a lot faster than it indicates. I sure miss driving in my earlier years. I was born in 1979, so 18 years after that, I had my driver's license. You can do the math. But here on Long Island in New York, 18 years after 1979, there were no red light cameras. You were still allowed to speed up at the yellow. And I was big into speeding up at the yellow. I would also, don't tell anybody this, but I'd roll through a few stop signs, right? Obviously, if you hit someone going 25 miles an hour, it's not as bad as hitting somebody when you're going 50, right? But it's not as beneficial to getting to work on time. If you enjoy being late to work, leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know how it is when you get to work if you're late. Tell me a funny story. Tell me something. Let me know about you and your time. Also, you have a question? Leave me a question. I'll answer it in my next video. Clearly, every day when I get into my car, when I create these videos, I'm not gonna have something to say. Today, by the way, is Thursday. It is May. It is a Thursday in May of 2025. And I'm gonna try to find time when I get to work to see if I can edit this together. Let me see if I can figure out the date mentally right now. I know it's a Thursday. I know it is May. I know it is 2025. Right now, I don't even know what time it is because the video is up and all I see is the counter on top of my video. I'm gonna try to click away and I'm gonna come back and mention the date and time. Hold on a second. Okay, actually, I just figured it out. It's Thursday, May 29th, 2025. So now you even know the year. Elon Musk says that in 10 years, that 90% of all vehicles are going to be self-driving, and that 50% of them are self-driving in 5 years. I think that's going to help the content here on this channel if this is the only time I have left. Although, and this is a big although, in 10 years, I am going to be able to retire, hopefully sooner. I need to be 55 to retire from New York City Department of Education. Not a minute longer. Of course, I'll still work. I love work. I like to get out there and do things, but I'm also looking forward to spending some QT with my beautiful wife, and you know, just slowing things down a little bit and focusing a little bit more on the focus that we were talking about earlier. You got to focus on the focus, man.